Well, here I am back with another doggone chair. Like I need another chair, but I can't help it. How can you say no? I rescued it from a thrift shop. Yep.
There's an old curiosity shop. Every once in a while I go by there for the fond recollections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Look what I just found, everyone. I'm in a new thrift shop that just opened up 2 weeks ago. It's huge. And look at this beautiful glass vase. This is right out of the 1930s. And this would be considered Art Deco, the way the stylized flowers are painted on here, sort of graduated from small to tall. It's very typical of things that you would see in the 1930s. Now I know there's a lot of light, so glare from the overhead lights. This place is huge. Look at this thing. It's like a former Walmart. Anyway, it's $6. I'm buying it. This would be silver overlay, sterling silver overlay, and it's worn in a few spots, but there are no brakes on it. And it's a great example of 1930s design, and I'm really excited about it. So that's going in the cart, and we'll take a look at that probably on the kitchen counter. But for the moment, I'm going to keep shopping. I'm terribly excited to be in this massive, massive thrift shop, which must be an old Walmart or some such thing, because it's just cavernous in here. Okay, thanks for joining me. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, a few years ago, actually several years ago, this clock was issued, and it's an imitation of one that was made in the 1930s, but do not be fooled. A closer look will tell us Pottery Barn. Now it does have a good look to it. It does have a nice Art Deco look, but it's not an antique. 1960s, there's not much of a doubt there. Well, I'm in my thrift shop, one I haven't been in for quite a while. The music is playing, but it's not too loud. Let's see, these look mid-century, and I can't really see what's under there. It's a nice little plate, probably from the 1920s. Anyway, ooh, hello, $4.99. I'm not sure. I'd like that to be vintage, but it doesn't look like it is. Now this is, but sadly, we've got some problems down here. A little wall pocket. What a shame, it's broken. Oh, well. Well, as usual, I jump around like a kangaroo with its pants on fire, and I'm in a different thrift shop now. Actually, I'm sitting in the comfort of my own home now doing a voiceover. But what you're seeing here are some lovely glasses. I'm not sure who made them. The Tiffin Glass Company made glass like stems like this. but so did many other companies as well. That gilding around the top, that encrusted gilding around the top, is pretty typical of many companies of the 20s and 30s. Of course, we're all familiar with Lenox, which I don't think I've ever bought or sold a piece of Lenox. It's pretty stuff. Well, this is a nice consignment store. What does that say? Enchantment something or other. On the same highway as that huge store that I just filmed in a minute ago. And sold as is. I really like the honesty. If something is chipped or cracked in this particular store, they will put a sticker on it saying sold as is. So there's no getting it home, getting off the sticky tape and finding out it's got a big crack in it. They're very honest in this particular store. Now, I was attracted to this for some reason, and there's nothing on it, and at $4 I decided not to buy it. There was no sugar bowl with it, but it's unusual. Don't know what it is. I'm rather who made it. And oh, the big-headed 70s kids. Now, somebody out there has to collect these things. 1975, there it is on the bottom. I think everybody's mother took a ceramic class in the 1970s. No? Yes? Mine did. I remember that. Now, this is a 1930s or early 40s gravy boat cream and sugar, and I thought it had a Homer Laughlin feel, but there's no marks to the bottom of it, so it shall remain a mystery to me unless you guys know who made it. It's pretty in pink. Gosh, I haven't seen that film since the 1980s. Now, get your thumb out of the way. There you go. Let's see. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the camera here, but in a moment we're going to see several pieces of depression glass. I guess I'm trying to make us all dizzy. Imagine you're on the tilt-a-whirl for a moment on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Okay, we're back where we started. Depression glass. There are some amber. Well, I've gone off it too quickly. What am I trying to show you? Oh, okay. There's a in pink depression for $4. A covered candy dish. Sold as is, so there's damage on it somewhere. And then you can see the American Sweetheart platter to the left. Popular pattern in the 30s. And there were some amber mixing bowls down there. I guess I didn't want you to see those for some reason. Some lusterware and some pretty plates. A piece of Georges Briard I hadn't seen before. And some dinner plates in the Mildred pattern. I didn't look to see how much those plates were selling for. I have several pieces in the Mildred pattern I need to get listed, but I don't have any dinner plates. I should have taken a look at those. There's the amber mixing bowls. I think they might have been Federal glass, but we've zipped away from them. Perusing the American dinnerware aisle, and I don't recall finding anything that floated my boat, that set my heart a whirl, so I didn't buy anything. Some more china, and what's that? Oh, another luster piece, $2.50. With a lid on the top and a hole in it. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe that's one of those things that you put hot water in. Gravy boat connected to its underpants. What does that say on there? I can't see it. My eyesight, I'll tell you what, springtime? Oh, good grief, I couldn't even see it. Some cups and saucers up here. Lots of Franciscan. We didn't own any Franciscan in my family, but I have an aunt who had several pieces of it. I think it was her mother's, and so there were lots of holiday dinners on Franciscan when we were at my aunt's house. That's really cool, that pink stuff there from, I guess, the 50s and 60s, probably the 50s. Now, the plates were not the same pattern. We turn these upside down, you'll see in a minute. This is ballerina. You can see there. And those, a similar color to what you see on the left, but not manufactured by the same company, different stuff. Pink. Well, as you can see, I'm back at it once again, buying chairs, like I need another chair. But hey, if a lot of people come over, they'll have a place to sit down. This chair dates to the mid-1920s, 23 to 28, something like that. It is made of mahogany, and it is upholstered in an old mohair. Someone has put new upholstery tacks. Well, when I say new, I think someone reupholstered it at sometime in the 1930s. This is not a very nice mohair, and this gimp wouldn't have been on there. These are also newer upholstery tacks. Again, newer, meaning the 1930s or 40s. These chairs often had either cane on the back or many times a very fancy tapestry upholstery. And who knows, there may be original upholstery under there somewhere. I kind of doubt it, though. Well, what is it? Most likely not a dining room chair. Now, yes, it could be what people call a captain's chair or a chair at the head of the dining room table. But it was very popular in decorative arts, or rather in home decor of the 20s, to have these massive chairs that would be used and referred to as occasional chairs. We don't hear that often anymore, an occasional table, an occasional chair. But that's what they were advertised as. And you could see a chair like this in a living room sitting, next to a Governor Winthrop desk or a secretary. You could find these in hallways next to grandfather clocks and console tables. They were used in various areas in the home, sort of tucked out of the way and there to be used when needed. And so it probably was not actually used as a dining room chair. And so it is made of mahogany. It's all there. I'm going to have to clean it, and I will reupholster it. And I'll let you see the back of it as well. The upholstery is rather amateurishly done, but I'll take care of that. And it's okay. I've seen better carving on these chairs, better quality, but this one isn't bad. And again, we're somewhere right around the early to mid-1920s. Bought it at Goodwill, paid $19 for it. It's a gorgeous chair, and I'm going to put it in storage, and then on a rainy day we'll get it out into the garage, clean it up, and reupholster it. Very nice. Well, as you might have guessed by now, we are back on the old kitchen counter. And here are two items that I purchased today. I'd like to talk a little bit more about both of them. Now, the clock on the right, you didn't see me buy that at the thrift shop. No. I actually was out pretty early this morning and bought that clock at a flea market. I'm going to talk about the clock in just a minute, but let's look at the vase first, which I have cleaned up. And we'll slide this forward and let you see a little bit better the decoration. It's definitely an amethyst glass, well, a black glass vase. And when I hold this up to the light, of course, I can see the amethyst color coming through. And the decoration is wonderful. There's loss to it, as I said before. and it might be difficult to see, but black glass became a fad around 1930, and it remained very popular through the 1930s, but sort of fell out of fashion. We think of L.E. Smith as the company who made quite a bit of the black glass, and they did. But of course, because there was money to be made during the fad of black glass, other companies were making it as well. Most of the elegant depression glass companies of the 30s, not all, but most of them, offered something in black glass, and it would take me a while to figure out whether it's an L.E. Smith piece or some other company. More than likely, either the sterling or the silver decoration that we see on the front was done by another company. There's the bottom of the vase. In other words, decorated by another company. I think some water is dripping out because I did give it a bath. And it may look like pottery, but it certainly is glass. I don't know if I bring it up here to the light. Let's see if we can get you to see the purple color on there. We go. Do you see? We're looking through it now, and you can see how purple it looks. So black glass in many cases at this point is actually a deep, deep, deep purple color. So I was very excited to find it today and thrilled to add it to my collection, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Keep it, because I think it's a nice example of a asymmetric deco design. Now let's pull this guy forward and talk about this clock for a minute. I'm going to get down low where we can have a good look at it. Let's zoom in on it. Well, you can obviously see it's keeping time. It's not midnight here, but that's the time on the clock when I got it started. We see Made in USA. Brock. Now that was a name that I was familiar with because it's made in my home state of New Jersey. Sorry about that. This is the Brock Electric Clock Company of Newark, New Jersey. Now, I bought this at the flea market this morning, and the lady said, well, we plugged it in and it didn't work, so you can have it for $5 because it's a neat case and maybe you can fix it. I said, okay, well, let me think about that for a minute. And then I turned around and I did this. I spun it around to its back, and I opened up this little tin can covering here. And I was very happy on the inside to see the word START. S-T-A-R-T. We see that? And we can see the word set. Okay. I've had these clocks before. The reason why I was pretty certain I could get this one running without doing any work to it at all is because there was a clock in my grandparents' house that had been in my grandmother's house when she grew up. It was a clock from the late 20s, and it was also a self-starting clock like this. And anytime there was an interruption in the electric current, or the lights went out, an electric storm, or even just a blip in the electric, the clocks would stop, and you have to go in and go to that little, and you have to go into the back. I could unplug it and start it all over again, but when you plug it in, nothing happens. So when you see the word start, you actually have to grab hold of that and spin it. And you got to spin it in the right direction. Don't spin it in the wrong direction. But we can see there's an arrow here that tells us to spin this in the counterclockwise direction on this clock. And when we give it a spin, the electric motor engages the magnets and away it goes. And you're all set. And so the lady didn't think the clock worked. I didn't know whether it would or not. But my thought was, well, they plugged it in and nothing happened. And that's what a lot of people do with these clocks. They plug them in and nothing happens, and they think that they're broken. Okay, so I've done nothing. I haven't even taken a paper towel and cleaned this clock off yet. I knew by looking at it with this sort of the cathedral shape to the top, or dome shape to the top, that it would date to the early 1930s. The sides here are made out of mahogany. A lot of these clocks are made of Bakelite. It's nice to find one with a mahogany cabinet, a mahogany case. It's just a small desk clock, or a clock for the boudoir, or any place that you needed just a little clock without an alarm on it. And this is all pressed on the front. Rep wood is what it's usually called, and it's mostly, I don't know what it was made of. I think sawdust and glue and pulp and things, and they would just stamp these out. So none of this is carved. It's all just stamped out on a machine, and it can be produced. You can get very intricate designs and very inexpensively produced in the 20s and 30s. So the other really cool thing about this clock, if we turn it upside down, and I'm not going to probably have it the wrong way. Well, I do. We can see down on the bottom we've got April of 1932. I absolutely love it. The factory in April of 1932. So just a reminder, if you see these old clocks that date from the late 20s into the early 30s, and plug them in and they don't work, you may just have to give it a spin if it's a self-starter, and away you go. And when I see these old clocks, I think of a channel that I really enjoy called AB at Time for Clocks. I'll put the link in the description box below. Why don't you surprise Ab and go on over to his channel? He does wonderful videos. He considers himself an amateur clock restorer and repairer. I don't think he gives himself enough credit. I do enjoy watching his channel, and he finds these old clocks similar to this one in difficult condition and bad condition, and he brings them back to life. That might be something that you enjoy. I like to point out some new channels, give everybody a little variety. AB at Time for Clocks. Check him out, why don't you? His link is in the description box below this video, or you can just search on YouTube for the channel AB, A-B, at Time for Clocks. Alright, I'm going to clean the wood up on this one, bring it back to life. I am going to oil the clock, put a new cord on it, because this one is a little bit getting close to peanut brittle. And that's going to be probably up for sale. I really don't need another clock, so if you find that clock attractive, it might be up for sale in the old curiosity shop pretty soon. Well, I've taken up enough of your time rambling, but I thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope you're doing well and having a great evening. I'm Scott in the old curiosity shop, saying thanks for watching, and so long for now.